pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Signs and wonders will be in the air. The power will be in the atmosphere. I must apprehend that for which I am apprehended of. You need to let loose. You need to let loose. God said, go this way. Now, arise and go. You've been picked out to be picked on, and you're going to be picked on until you act. I'm going to tell you what it is that God can't do. What you say he can't do. I want the work you've done to speak for you. And what do you have to offer him? Be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the word of the Lord. For as much as you know, your labor is not in vain, but he says, be. As times change, we need to become more aware of who we are. Listen, the impact that we have on society is pursuant to the reality of who we are. Now, ask yourself, for real, who are you? How often do you put on a show in order to convince somebody you are who you are? And who are you at the basis of your reality? In other words, we can all look like something. But have you ever noticed someone who gives a facade? Y'all do understand the terminology facade. Gives a facade of being somebody, but when the expectations of being that person is at stake, they cannot perform the level for which they have personified. Now, this gets frustrating to people because then we get into a trust issue. A trust issue. And so, why then do we have a trust issue in church where we're supposed to lay down all of our burdens? We're supposed to lay down all of our mess. You know, this is a place where you have to come to get forgiveness. So therefore, it is imperative, paramount, that as we come into this house, if we're ever going to be honest about something, we should be honest here. But a lot of us still come in here with our honoringness. In other words, you honor it. You always have something hidden about you that you're trying to convince us to. You're the kind of person that will fake your way all the way to the gate, and only Jesus can say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Because you can have yourself so convinced of yourself that you ain't yourself. Now, let me give you a little hint here. If you ain't yourself, you are nothing. Because meeting Christ causes us to meet ourselves. And once we meet ourselves, then we know what we're working with. But with Jesus on our side, things will work out fine. If God be for us, who can be against us? This is his assurance that once we understand what kind of train wreck we are through the vicissitudes of life, once we learn what we are for real, then he knows that we know what we're working with. Now, the reality of oneself is not a pretty picture. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can look in the mirror all day long and think you look like Beyonce, but in actuality, you may not look quite like Beyonce as you think you do, but you know, imagery of the imagination is a molten gator. And so sometimes we really have a different picture of ourselves than what is reality. But by and large, what we do is we hallucinate. And then when somebody catches us in progress of us exalting ourselves, we say, well, I'm not any worse than anyone else. Well, is that an excuse or a reason? And most of all is the truth. What is the truth about us? Where do you want to go? Because where you want to go is going to be based on how fast you can own up to the truth about you. Now, if you was that great, you wouldn't need a Savior. So then you need a Savior. So then what you want to do, when you receive Jesus, your priority has been abased. Your priority has to go to the wayside. I don't know what your job is. I don't know what it is you do for a living. But the thing about it is, if God be for us, who can be against us? God is never to be sacrificed for anything. Because you're going to need him before he needs you. And if he called you, he is not obligated to call again. So then, when you pray, how many of y'all have found that it's easier to pray for someone else than it is to pray for yourself? How many of y'all have found that? Man, I tell you, because you're palpable to the pain. Palpable means proximity. You're proximal to the pain. Being proximal to pain, you feel it. And my situation has invaded my emotions to such a degree that when I try to pray for me, I feel so deeply what I'm praying for that, man, I disqualify myself from being an official to pray for me. Now, you disqualified yourself, not God. God says when you pray, whatsoever things you say, it shall be done. But if you disqualify yourself, that means the benefits, not to you, the benefits to your doubt has been introduced into what you're doing. And so if the benefits of the doubt has been introduced in what you're doing, that means the doubt has more to do with what you're doing than what you're doing. So then if the doubt has more to do with what you're doing, then who's in control? You or the doubt. Now we need stronger prayer than what we've been doing. I mean, now I commend you. Somebody told me, I got a text message today that the baby that was sick, the medicine started working last night. No, I remember y'all praying for that baby in prayer night, right? The prayer didn't start working. The medicine didn't start working, the prayer started working. And if prayer makes medicine work, whatever avenue it does, then it does it. But the fact of the matter is we are good at getting prayer done for other people. Then you go home with a raggedy life. For real? Already? Deuces. Shalom. Peace be unto you. But now, that's what you're going to settle for? That's it. Whatever it is whatever it is. You want to go out like my prayers for everyone else work. But you cannot get a promotion. You can't maintain a relationship. You can't maintain a sense of civility. You can't maintain a sense of dignity. You can't maintain a sense of relevance. You can't maintain a sense of constant continuity. But yet and still, you're going to brag about your prayers getting done for somebody else. For real. So then let me ask you something. You're doing humanity some good, but not God. Now, who did you pray for that owns a hell or a heaven? You are anointed. And the Bible tells us that God gives gifts and calls. Man, it's so quiet in here right now. God gives gifts and calls without repentance. That means he didn't change his mind about the gift he gave you. The same gift that you getting all of that stuff done with everybody else is the same gift that'll get it done for you. And it's the same gift that will please God. So if you have the gift of pleasing anyone, you have the gift of pleasing God. If you have the gift of getting it done, you have the gift of getting it done with God. How often do you ask God, God, what do you want me to do? Do you do that before you do anything else? It's still quiet. So tonight, we're going to start on a new series called 12 Action Steps to Prayer. It's based on a book, but I'm always going to add my own. But it's a book by Miles Monroe, and it's not entitled this. I forget the title right now, but he talks a lot about prayer. And so when I go in, I'm not no fool now. I'm a pretty astute person. So what I like to do is I like to go in and not necessarily grade, but evaluate the information based on proximity of what any author has done, and not to degrade the author, and especially not to go back to Mesopotamia and reinvent the wheel. That's just not the way I do business. You know, I want to look at everybody else's research, because them jokers go on YouTube and get my stuff, and I heard my stuff come on the God channel and everywhere else. Because nobody has a monopoly. You can't copyright and get no what they call it, patent on the Bible. Well, Paul would have stopped all of us from preaching. So you can't get a patent on that. It's unpatentable. So then we all have to put our best stuff out there and let anybody get it, and we share. We cross share. Every preacher in the world would be caught up in court on plagiarism. If there was a law on religion. That's why laws that are affirmed through the state does not apply to the church. Separation of church and state. So you have to understand the legalism. So then, if the Bible can sustain this type of legalism, is there a legal way to pray? And is there a way we just flopping gums and spitting all over the place and not? And in our ignorance, we can stumble upon a right combination when it concerns others. But then, when it concerns us and our emotions get into it, or our wants, our desires, our overpowering will gets into it. Just because you have a free will don't mean you're not violating laws and rules and edicts and commandments that's given by God. And a lot of us think that we get a buy on that. We think we get an excuse simply because we are under a state of duress, which if we would have understood it. I wonder how many people, now I wouldn't ask you to take a vow of poverty, but how many people would pass up money for prayer? Pass up money for service to God. Money gonna burn. It's paper. It's gonna burn. But a lot of us, we're not gonna turn down money for God. Because right now, God ain't moving the way I need to move. I have spent almost 20 years holding me back. I've always said, and some of you have heard me say it publicly, I'd rather be 2 steps behind God than 1 inch in front of Him. And I feel now that my anonymity is slipping away. When I go to the States, who I can talk to now, I won't be able to talk to no more. Because I'm going to be always moving, always going, and always doing. There'll be people. I mean, if people could get to this church right now, this church would be packed. If we weren't in Germany. If we weren't in Germany, if we was in a highly populated city, this church would be packed. And you be sitting there thinking that I'm going to attend to every one of your little old escapades. And it wouldn't happen. I have a staff of people that wouldn't even let you near me. But that's not the case right now. So enjoy it while you can. Because it will end. 12 action steps to prayer. How do you treat your own prayer? What do you do when you have to pray for you? All right. If there's something wrong in your life, have you determined what it is that you're not performing according to the rules? What part of the rules do you violate because you feel that you are an exception to it, simply because you got a prayer answer for someone else? And then you turn around now and you special. You special, all right? Now, I need to tell you something special, Kay. That you can be like Peter and have a revelation, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God, and then turn around and tell Jesus he can't do this. That's how fast you can mess this whole thing up. That's how fast that you can just sit there and say, I had a revelation, so therefore every time the spirit is high, I got a prophecy. I got a word. It's on me. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this because I know I'm just excited and I know I'm not saying nothing that I need to get out. And can't nobody shut your tail down because everybody know that you brought a prophecy the last time. Wow. And they don't know this one is emotion and excitement. Yes, sir. So you always bring a prophecy, you always bring a diverse kind of tongue, but you never assume the responsibility to interpret it. And I am convinced that as many people that bring forth diverse kind of tongue had interpretation. But no, they don't want the responsibility of interpreting what they just said. Because they was excited. Now, I got to get y'all deep in the spirit so y'all can understand that. Right now, everybody like, I don't know what to say. I feel so close to you right now. So I just really don't know what to say. So I don't understand all that. Okay, you don't understand the spirit realm. But you need to want to understand the spirit realm. The devil kicking your tail every day and you don't understand the spirit realm. If there has ever been a motivation for understanding the spirit realm, is I need to stop the devil from communist kicking my tail. I've never understood how they walk like that and walk behind each other and never kick each other in the butt. But the fact of the matter is, the devil is intentionally kicking you in the butt with every step you take. One way or the other, he manipulates our minds, our bodies, our situations, our jobs, and that manipulation is based on our laxities. It is based on how we let him. It is based on what we want. It is based on what our secret thoughts are. It is based on how we feel about life. It is based on what we subliminally want in life. It is based on who we done cussed out. It is based on what he feel like he got on you. It is based on what your subliminal aspects are. It is based on what your desires and your lusts are. But it has a basis that opens the gates to your life. And then when you are treacherously shoved and pushed to the curb, you want people to pray for you, but they don't know what they're praying against. Because you didn't bring that to the altar. I want to be a wild thing, but I want the saints praying for me that my wild thingism is condoned, covered, or have a healing balm on it. Well then, now, what did God ask of you as an occupation in the kingdom? Does he get full-time or part-time? What is your priority? What you do or what you've been called to do? See, because what you consider now as a part-time will become a full-time when what you call now a full-time is past and gone. Education is going to fail. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was saying, I don't know if he was staff sergeant or tech sergeant, I forget which one he said, but he says, you know, the Air Force went crazy, man. I says, yeah, he's the Air Force retiree. And he said, I got a friend that got a letter last week, and he got to the 30th of this month, the 30th of September to be out the military. They did everything right. They just had a new baby. He just did this, and he got his paperwork. He gone. He gone. And you can put so much into something, and it'll let you down. Then you want everybody to pray for you to a God that you wasn't sold out for. You know, if God be for us, who will be against you? I had another friend. He came to this church because his wife had a demon, and the pastor he was under was so scared of that demon, he just ran from him. Now, the devil does not come directly toward you. He comes toward you through people that you associate with. And he may even actually come through your children. Your children associates will bring stuff into your house. And you want me to pray for your children's nightmares. And their nightmares are associate demons. You cannot cast out an influence. Neither can you cast out a principality. The lowest level and the highest level cannot be cast out. So if you don't want to understand spirit, your finances are spirit. Finances are spirit. Just like your faith, a spirit. Speaking is a spirit. Some of your problems, you can't see them, but you know they exist. And I'm trying to tell you that a lot of your problems are spiritual. They are instigated, instituted, and the doors are open on your life because of your actions. The doors are open on your life because of your speaking. The doors are open on your life because of your doings. The doors are open on your life because of your desires, your bid, your subversion. Whatever it is you want and trying to pretend you don't want it, you really do want it. And then all of a sudden you come here and then what does God think about it? The God that you want to bless you next. God bless me, but only after I get through doing what I want to do. I know y'all don't think like that though, do you? Huh? Have any of y'all ever wanted to do something and it was only after, I don't need God until after I finish because I can repent afterwards. Ain't nobody in here like that, huh? What up to my amen corner, dumb boy? I ain't getting my amens over here, All right, well, see, you got it done what you want to get done. Do you know what kind of damage you're doing to yourself? Because that was a willful commitment, which going to bring with a consequence that you will suffer. But the first thing you're going to say is, how could God let this happen? I prayed about it. No. You didn't pray about it. You prayed on it. You prayed on that situation. You prayed like a stalker. You prayed like a predator.
At Life Changes New Horizon, we'd like to thank you for joining us to hear and receive a phenomenal word from God. Please visit our website to order the message you've just enjoyed or choose from thousands of sermons available for purchase. You can order this revelatory teaching on cassette, CD, or DVD. For more information on Life Changers Ministries, go to www.lifechangersmi.com or call 1-877-524-9673. Life Changers. We are shining the light all around the world.